I just finished watching every pre-fight press conference for UFC Vegas 100, and today I wanted to take a deep dive into the fighter headspaces as we do before these cards, and timestamps will be there if you'd like to skip to any particular fighter. Issue being, there's only two fighters that we're going to take a look at today, because the other press conferences were pretty bland. There's nothing really to dive into, so we're going to be talking about Reiner de Riddler, and we're going to be talking about Neil Magny, guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's start off with Reiner de Riddler. So the biggest takeaway from Reiner de Riddler, and this is something that I actually, it slipped my mind, and I think I should, like, there's no way I didn't know about this, because I'm a fan of one championship, and I've known Reiner de Riddler for a very long time. Now, what I didn't know, and this is something he was honest about, is this is going to be his first time cutting weight in 6 years, because what he wanted to do is he wanted to enter the middleweight division, because all of these guys in the UFC, they cut weight and they're so much bigger than they're supposed to be in the divisions. In one championship, they have the hydration test, so you don't see that nearly as often. So de Riddler said, I don't want these guys to have a huge size advantage on me, so I have to go down to 185. He's getting up there in age, and if he hasn't cut weight in 6 years, that could be a really, really, really big issue. I like that he's honest about it. I like that he understands his position, but he must be pretty confident in himself if he's openly talking about cutting weight. He seems pretty laid back. He seems confident in his approach, but that's something to take into consideration moving forward. But the problem being he's fighting Gerald Meerschaert, who probably won't knock him out. What if he shows up in his chinny, though? What if he shows up and doesn't have the energy? Weight cuts are very, very draining on fighters. I think this is something important to take into consideration if you are even betting Reiner de Riddler. But now let's talk about Neil Magny. So honestly, guys, Neil Magny, my biggest takeaway, and I really like this press conference because I actually learned a couple things about Neil Magny. Like, I didn't know that he served in the army for a very long time, and I just like Neil Magny as a guy, man. I like to get to know him more as a fan, but the biggest thing about Neil Magny is as he's aging, he has a very positive and realistic outlook on his career and his life. He understands the challenges ahead of him. He wants to take on the toughest guys, and he's always talking about adjusting to his game, learning from his losses, and he's very, very real about the state of his career. I think that's a very, very good mindset to be in, but the problem is we don't get a lot of press conferences from Neil Magny. So is this something that he typically does, or is he just learning from the loss last time? That's the problem, right? Regardless, Neil Magny showing up to have the fight that he's fighting right now for this weekend. He is very calm, very positive, looking at this fight from an intelligent perspective. I like Neil Magny's attitude. Almost makes me want to think that he's going to fraud check Carlos Prates, but even if he wins, he's not going to fraud check him. Like, I just hope he gets the job done, man. I really, really love Neil Magny, and it was cool to get to know him. I wanted to mention this. Typically, we go a little bit more into these videos, but like I said, the conversations were pretty bland this time around. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out the betting guide. I'd love to have you guys over there. Take care, everybody.